What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to Kansas City Chiefs today. Harrison Butker has been money for years, but right now the conversation in Kansas City is different. Special teams boss Dave Toub met with reporters and basically said there's no easy answer for Butker's recent misses. That's the story, and we're going to unpack what it means for the Chiefs' next month of football and the bigger AFC picture. If you're new here, we post daily breaking news, rumors, and fan takes on your Kansas City Chiefs. We're on the push to 5,000 subs, so hit that subscribe and turn on notifications to ride with us every single day. Alright, let's talk about the kicker spot, because for a team with Patrick Mahomes, the smallest margins still matter. Let's set the scene. Kansas City started the season slower than anyone wanted, then stacked a couple of wins to get back to .500 and steady the ship. But in the middle of that turnaround, Butker has missed at least one kick in each of the first 4 games, field goals from distance and a couple of extra points sprinkled in. It hasn't sunk the Chiefs, but it has raised eyebrows because we're used to seeing him slam the door on opponents. Dave Toub didn't sugarcoat it. He stood up and said, "Look, it's a slump and there's not a magic switch. It's technique, it's timing, it's protection, it's pressure. Kicking is a 3-man operation and sometimes the margins stack up against you." The tone wasn't panic, but it wasn't denial either. It was, "This is real and we have to work through it." Another layer here is the new kickoff landscape. With the league's updated rules placing a premium on landing the ball in a specific zone and penalizing you in field position when you don't, kickers league-wide are changing their rhythms. You're not just blasting a touchback and jogging off anymore. You're directing traffic with your right leg, and that can tug at mechanics during the week. Butker's job now includes more precision on kickoffs, not just field goals, and that shift has been part of the conversation in Kansas City. And before anyone writes the legacy off, remember who we're talking about. This is the same kicker who has hit massive, high-leverage postseason kicks with the season on the line. He's been clutch on the sport's biggest stages. 1 month of turbulence doesn't erase a career of trust, but it does force the staff to tinker with the plan. Let's talk scoreboard math, because that's where this actually bites. When your offense moves the ball but stalls in the red zone, those 3 points are supposed to be automatic. A missed field goal flips momentum, flips field position, and flips crowd energy. It doesn't just cost you points. Sometimes it changes play calling on the next drive because the coordinator starts pressing. Extra points matter more than people think too. Miss an early PT and every subsequent decision gets weirder. Are you chasing the point? Do you go for 2 if you score with 4 minutes left? The analytics chart you study on Friday suddenly looks different on Sunday because your kicker isn't in rhythm. That mental tax lands on the head coach, the play caller, and the quarterback. Everything tightens. From a defensive standpoint, missed kicks also change the hidden yardage battle. A drive that ended with points and a kickoff becomes a drive that ends with a short field for the opponent. Now your defense is defending 65 yards instead of 75 or 80. Over a full game, that snaps fatigue into the equation. It's not just 3 points, it's the knock-on effects across all 3 phases. And special teams protection is part of this. Toub basically hinted that it's never just one guy when things aren't clean. If the rush gets home a step quicker, the ball comes out a hair low. If the hold isn't perfect, the strike point drifts. Kicking is choreography. When one dancer is offbeat, the whole number looks wrong. That's why you'll hear the staff say, "Ooh," a lot when they talk about correcting it. There's also the trust component on 4th and medium in that 52 to 58-yard range. Andy Reid has lived in that aggressive middle ground for years because he's had confidence in both his kicker and his quarterback. If the staff starts leaning away from long attempts for a few weeks, that nudges the offense into more 4th down tries. With Mahomes, that's not a bad plan B, but it alters the chessboard for defensive coordinators who now expect KC to keep the offense on the field. Finally, locker room psychology matters. Teammates rally around guys who've delivered in the past. You'll hear leaders say, "We've got his back." He'll snap out of it. When that first perfect game hits, no misses, clean operation, a long make late in the 4th, that's when confidence floods back. A lot of slumps end in one afternoon. So how do you fix it? Step 1 is always the operation. You recalibrate the snap hold kick tempo. You drill ball contact on 1,000 reps, but instead of ripping 60-yarders, you live at 33 and 41 and 47. It's about stacking clean, repeatable contact where the margin of error is smallest. That's boring, but boring fixes are how specialists get right. Step 2 is protection on the edges. If you're seeing pressure off the left, you tweak the split or the stance of your wing. Use self-scout tells, anything on film that tips timing to the opponent, and tighten it up. NFL special teams are ruthless about micro-advantages. If your rush unit found one against another team, assume they've found one on you. The counter is to remove the tells. Step 3 is situational scripting. Give Butker a full 2-minute drill in practice where the offense moves the ball and the clock is running, then he sprints on for a 44-yard kick with 10 seconds left. Then do it again from the opposite hash. Then cue crowd noise and simulate a TV timeout followed by a 52-yard attempt. Specialists don't just practice kicks, they practice adrenaline. On kickoffs, you continue the landing zone reps, but you don't let that bleed into field goal mechanics. If they're treating kickoff practice like a wedge shot in golf, shaping trajectory, controlling rollout, then field goal is the driver. Same tempo, same posture, same finish. Partitioning those muscle memories during the week keeps your A-swing clean for Sundays. And finally, you have the game plan option of dialing up fourth down aggression for a couple of weeks. If you pass on a low percentage 55-yarder in the second quarter and go for it on 4th and 3, that can lower the heat on your kicker while you rebuild routine. It also plays into Mahomes' hands and puts defenses in conflict with motion, option looks, and Pacheco downhill. Fans are split, and that's normal when a trusted player wobbles. A chunk of the kingdom says, he's earned rope. Ride with him. Another chunk says, bring in competition now and push him. Both sentiments come from the same place, wanting the team to close games like champions. That's Kansas City, high standards, zero fear of hard conversations. Media-wise, the questions to Toub have been direct. Why the misses? Is it mechanics? Is it protection? Is it mental? He's answered with measured honesty. It's not one thing, it's several tiny things, and they'll iron it out. The no easy answers line hits because it sounds like real life. Sometimes you grind, not overhaul. And look, narratives move fast in the NFL. One clean 4-4 day with a clutch fourth quarter make changes the lower third ticker on every studio show. Instead of Butker struggles, it becomes Chiefs steady the kicking game. The truth usually lives in the middle, but the headlines swing with whatever happened last. If you're a fan wondering how to feel, here's the vibe from inside this channel: cautious patience. Keep the standard high, but don't forget the resume. He's won you games. He can do it again. This is where the margins matter most. The AFC is again a traffic jam. Top seeds are going to be decided by tiebreakers and one-score games. Buffalo looks loaded early, Jacksonville is stacking quality wins, and you know Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Miami will make runs as injured players return. If Kansas City is going to swing January through Arrowhead again, field goals and extra points can't be an adventure. Inside the division, the Chargers always play the Chiefs tight, and Denver and Vegas live for chaos in rivalry weeks. You don't want to be handing 3 free points to teams that already treat games with you like a Super Bowl. One clean special teams month could be the difference between the 1 seed and a wild card gauntlet. That's not hyperbole, it's the modern AFC. And in the biggest games, kickers decide championships. We've seen it. We've lived it. The path to a three-peat type legacy runs through details like clean protection on a 46-yarder in bad weather. That's why this moment matters in October. So what should we expect next? From the staff, continued emphasis on fundamentals and situational work. From the game plan, a little more fourth down aggression in the gray area, and smarter use of hashes to help ball flight. From Butker, a reset. Shorter attempts to stack clean contact. One perfect Sunday, then the rhythm returns. For the rest of the roster, it's complementary football. Defense keep balling, offense finish in the red zone to minimize the number of kicks under pressure, and special teams tighten the edges. Andy Reid and Dave Toub have earned patience when it comes to solving specialist puzzles. They'll work the process, not just the headlines. And for Chiefs Kingdom, lend the guy your support but keep your standards. That's the Kansas City way. If you've watched this team long enough, you know the story rarely ends in September. It ends in confetti. That's today's breakdown on Kansas City Chiefs today. If you want more daily Chiefs news, rumors, and honest fan talk, you're in the right spot. Drop your takes in the comments and join the road to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs Today.